episode of Randy's Rants here with your guests, Alfredo Casteneda and Mr. Tom. I'm just going to say because I don't know your last name.
That's good. I don't want my last name because I might say some shit and people look me up.
Hey, call yourself Tom Anonymous.
Tom Anonymous. Hey,
Tom Anonymous.
For me, when it comes here, everything's game. I'm not going to judge anybody. If I may dislike something or something, I'm going to ask you about it because I want to learn more from the other side because you're not always going to agree with someone, but saying things from a different perspective really gets you more understanding with people, and you kind of start to have a different kind of love for people.
Right.
Oh, I was thinking the opposite. I kind of hate people.
Me too. That's
you
why I
have
do
the
security.
right to do it too.
Yes, sir.
All right, but Mr. Alfredo here, let the people know what you do. Your story is pretty cool. I barely met you not too long ago.
Yeah. What I used to do, I was playing professional baseball for San Diego Padres since 2017 to 2020, I believe, or 2021. 2020 or 2021?
You think?
I don't even remember, to be honest. But yeah, that's what we do. Right now we're trying to do businesses. We race a lot, the GTRs, which is great.
Just let people know he's known as the GTR king around here.
Yeah, something like that.
8 or 9.
Well, I mean, right now we just got 3, but we used to have a lot. Like, I have owned probably 6 GTRs in my whole life. Yeah,
Okay,
6 or
we'll
7,
make it 9.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
round it
know,
up.
like 9. Yeah.
round it up
Yeah.
9.
Not counting scale models.
Wait, also you bought a few of the engines, didn't you? Someone you were telling me like that.
Which one?
You bought engines of the GTR, or
Oh yeah, we
what's it
bought
called?
engines. We bought transmissions.
How many of those do you got?
Right now, I can't tell because they're in Arizona. So I would say just at least 6.
6. So
6 of them.
Never mind. He has now 15.
Yeah,
6
something like
already.
that. We
We're
just need the
looking for
chassis.
The bodies.
We just need the bodies. We just need the chassis.
When they wreck the bodies, we'll just take the engine and the transmission.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
that's
if they-
actually cool.
Yeah. And he will buy, and he was buying and selling things from the branded titles, Copart, things like that.
Yeah.
No ad there, you know.
Well, tell them a little bit about yourself, Tom.
Oh, let's see. Well, I really like racing the GTRs. I dumped racing Porsche and BMW because you can get more bang for your buck with the JDM. That's
Really?
the Japanese domestic market cars.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I'm out. I used to race with my brothers, and they had muscle cars when I was growing up. We'd do the quarter miles in Indiana, the Osceola drag strip, if it's still in business. Hope you guys are in business. And they raced Z28s, and so I was in charge of sort of, I could never race because I was too young, and then when I got old enough, I didn't think it was so cool because I was like in college. I thought, oh, that's kind of hillbilly shit. But it's not. Later on, it's like, hey, I understand why they did it. It's a lot of fun.
So you kind of had the racing from since your childhood. It's kind of been in your how some would say in your subconscious.
Yeah, we started with sledding because we had snow in the Midwest, and I used to wax up my sled and slide down the hills.
That's
And I
crazy.
thought that was pretty cool. And they used to drag us around behind in the car with our sled, and my brother would, go really fast. But stopping could be a problem, so you had to be alert. Yeah.
We never did that when we had the snow. We should have done that.
What? No, we built that big ass snowman. Remember the ball? It was as big as this roof. It was.
Damn.
Huge.
Yeah, we did a big
Took
one.
us all.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. But honestly, our land was too flat. We had no hills.
It was, yeah,
We couldn't
was
really go
our-
sledding. Is what the heck?
Our 5 acres were just flat.
Flat.
land.
Yeah, that's why we did it with the car, because in the street you could get going, and the streets were kind of icy, so it was kind of cool.
But the
It
snowball
was very
fights were
dangerous.
fun.
Looking back, pretty much dangerous shit when you were a kid. You
It
don't
was
think
different
about it.
times though.
Different times.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even have helmets on,
Hey,
or flags on our sled like they have on the bikes.
what was CTE? CTE was I'm pretty sure back
Oh,
then.
no.
There's
The
none
rule
of
was
that.
if you weren't bleeding, you were good to go.
Exactly.
Tom, you should tell them a little bit about how you got into the GTRs.
That was actually gonna be my next
Good.
question. How did you get into the GTR?
well-
Because you went Porsche, you did
Yeah,
Beamer,
well,
and I was like, well, how do you get
Alfredo
into the
and Alfredo kept saying these. Well, you should do you should buy a GTR. You should buy. I'm like, I don't know. It's I just thought I kind of looked down on the JDM. I was kind of a snob because I had the BMW and the Mercedes
GTR?
and the Porsche, and I thought, yeah, I didn't like it. But we went driving for on your birthday, I think once or twice. We went to the high speed racing courses and we rented GTRs for the day, and I thought, and I said, man. And then after driving his GTR, like a week later, I think I bought mine. Because
Really?
Oh yeah, and I scrapped buying the Carrera 4S. The dealer kept calling, you're gonna complete the purchase. I said, nah, I'm gonna get a GTR.
So the crazy story about that is like we went to BMW of Bakersfield. We got the paperwork ready to sign. He ran his credit. It was an M2, I believe, and it was a blue one. We drove it. Well, he did.
M2 or M4, I can't remember.
I believe it's the M2.
Yeah.
Dang,
If
well,
I'm not
that's a nice
wrong.
car.
It's
Yeah.
a really nice car. We were talking about it, but I was like, it's not enough power. It's not all-wheel drive, which it sucks in a way. But when I bought my GTR, my first one, I told him like, just drive around, step on it, and you're gonna feel it. Like it's something different. And he did it, and he's
Now I
like,
want to buy one.
I want to buy one. And I'm like, I told you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Porsche is great,
Yeah.
but it's a really expensive car and it's not really powerful.
Yeah, you're
So-
spending like 130, 140.
Yeah, I mean, for what you spend, and then we had club raced with my brother the 944s,
Yeah.
and which I liked it, and I raced, but again, I was kind of bigger than my brother, and size and weight, and I liked it. It was course racing, it wasn't drag racing, and I said, I kind of like it. It's competitive, but not crazy.
Yeah.
And then with the GTR and doing the quarter miles, and Alfredo took me out and he launched his car a couple times. I kept thinking, oh, you're going to break it. And then finally, when I talked to the tuners, he goes, oh, you're not going to break it. Here's how you do it. And I was always like, and then when I bought my car, and then I let Alfredo drive it the first time, and it came back and it was making typical noises. And I was, and I wish he would have videotaped me, because
Bro, that was crazy. He was really mad because I launched it, and
I asked him not to.
and it was the first time ever on the car. So I started making weird noises on the transmission, and that's super normal on a GTR. If you guys notice, that's super normal on the GTR.
Sounds
Don't
like
get
a
scared.
tank, clunky.
Like, don't get scared. Like, that's normal.
Really? Okay.
It's
So-
not a refined sound. It's just
Yeah.
they tell you in the manual. It's I'm like, well, I didn't know all that, and he brought it back, and I was mad.
It's like, who reads the manual?
Yeah, well, I read the manuals, and
He did after
Yeah,
I
I
did
did. I
that.
read 'em.
He's like, I'm gonna start reading about it because
Yeah.
this is not normal. He was mad, but
oh,
that's
I
okay.
was mad. I was slamming doors, and I was pissed. Like, he broke it. I haven't even had it a week, and he's telling me it was normal. And then I called the tuner, and he goes, oh yeah, let me hear it. Oh yeah, you're no problem.
Normal.
Yeah.
I have a question. So you played 4 years professional in Major
Yeah.
League Baseball?
So I was playing in the minor league system, but
okay.
I was playing since I was 13.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I was playing in Mexican league, which I was playing for the Diablos. So I was playing for them. I went to Oaxaca. I went to Monterrey. I was playing for them for a couple years. Then I got drafted on 2017, and I was 16 and a half or almost 17. I was almost 17 when I got drafted. So it was pretty cool. So when they give you the number 10
Yeah.
on my jersey, well, first of all, you go number 1. Those are the infielders, outfielders, whatever. So they give me the number 10 because that means you're the number 1 pitcher. Like, we'll say number 1 in a way that you're the best prospect,
Oh, okay.
the
Wow.
best
That's
pitcher
crazy. I didn't know
prospect.
that.
So they gave me the number 10. Then there were other people like 11, 12, because
Yeah.
when you're 11, it's like you're the second best pitcher,
Mhm.
then 12, the third, and stuff like that. So
okay.
they give me the number 10. So I was the best pitcher in my country in a way,
Yeah, yeah.
in Mexico. So
So that's
Yeah.
how it is in Mexico.
that's how it's
Okay.
out there.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I was throwing back then. I was like 16. No, I was 15 and a half actually before I signed. So I was throwing 92, 91, and nobody was throwing harder than
Oh,
I
shit.
was. Like,
Yeah.
just to be honest with you, like, a lot of people were trying hard. I was trying as well, but it's just the matter of dedication. That's it. Like I was just doing the best I can. Just
But that's only sport. That's the one you played. You're like, oh, baseball's my sport.
no. My first like I was into soccer in the beginning, so I was right there playing, and my mom told me like, "Who's playing soccer right here at the house?" And I'm like, "No one." Then she told me like, "What the fuck are you doing playing soccer?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I just like it." And she's like, "Nah, you know what? Tomorrow we're gonna go to baseball because your dad play baseball, your uncles play baseball, so you're gonna go out there and just play baseball."
Crazy.
Bro. And I suck in the beginning like bad, bro. Like,
That one decision.
my mom did it. My mom did it for me.
I'm telling you, that is amazing.
Yeah.
It's crazy how just sometimes that one tiny decision has the biggest impact in the end.
Yeah, bro. And my mom was just crazy about it. In the beginning, I was throwing 65 miles an hour. I was 13 or 12 and a half or something.
Damn, I think at that time I was throwing like 15s.
Bro, it's just like, and a lot of people,
playing softball,
bro, and a lot of people were still better. Were throwing harder than I was, and I was just frustrated because I like, first I was super skinny, then I was not throwing hard as everybody else. So I was just like, damn, what should I do next? And my trainer started telling me like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta train 5 days a week. So I was taking the bus. That was pretty cool. I was taking 2 buses. The first one, it was from my house to the grocery store, which was like 40 minutes away. Then from the grocery store to my training facility, it was another 40 minutes on the bus.
Oh,
so
shit.
I had to pay 22 pesos every time that I was going to training and coming back, you know? So I was living basically, well, like this is crazy because when I was at school, so I was going to school and I was doing my sport. So what I was doing, I was just like leaving early. I was leaving school early all the time, 2 hours. And my mom was like, why you here early? And I'm like, well, it's just because we're not having classes and we're not doing this and that, you know, excuses just to go training. So for me, I was just like, I'm into this. I'm into baseball. I know that I'm going to play professional.
You're just in it right from the beginning.
I was like into it, bro. I didn't even know how, why. And all my teachers, bro, they were like, bro, you're going to fail in life. You're like leaving early all the time. You're
like a typical teacher.
Yeah, like you don't care about anything and shit. And I'm like, damn, you know, like I didn't give a fuck.
It's like the story of the eagle and the chicken.
Yeah, bro. Like for real, it's just like that.
You had to fly. You're like, no, this is not for me, bro. My wings are with baseball.
Yeah. So basically, bro, it was just like a lot of my friends, they were already signed, and I was like, I want to be like them. I really want to have money. So for me, just the way to get money, it was just baseball. It was not going to school, not going to college, not going to none of that stuff. Like, I respect people who go to college, who have their work and all that stuff.
Yeah, because it's a different type of thing.
Yeah, and for me, I was just like, school's not for me. Fuck this, and let's go to baseball. So that's what I did, bro. And my mom, my dad support me, which was amazing. And it was great, bro. Like, I did the best I could all the time, every day. A lot of people were telling me, you're going to fail. You're not good enough. You don't throw a lot of strikes. And at the end of the day, I didn't give a shit. I was just like, I'm just going to be...
So when you played in Mexico, were you already on a contract with the team? How does that work when you're drafted? Do they pick up your contract from that team, or they have to do a buyout clause with the whatever team that...
So when you're playing for them over there in Mexico, they got to buy the contract from the team in Mexico. So they did it. But they got in trouble for some reason. It was just like they were trying to give me, it was like 75% for them and like 25% or something like that, 20% for me. And I told them, like, that's not fair. I'm doing everything. Like, bro, I'm working out every day. I know you guys giving me the food, paying for my flights, paying for all that stuff, but everything. This is not fair for me, you know? And actually, that year, they got in trouble. They got in trouble, and they couldn't sign any Mexican guy or any contract next year. They
were barred from getting any new players.
Yeah, you know that.
So it was terrible for them. But for me, it was good because I had my lawyer over there in Mexico, and he was fighting my contract. So we end up getting like my whole contract 100%. Plus money on top because the team was already fucked up because what they did. And the guys who did that stuff, they just retire afterwards.
Oh wow.
That was crazy.
Man,
It was crazy,
deal
bro.
with agents, that thing is dirty.
It was a scandal in Mexico.
It
Because,
was just a scamming, bro.
And that's imagine how long that hadn't been going on for.
yeah.
Bro, trust. A lot of people were talking about it. They got banned from baseball, like whatever. Like people were talking about it and they just got banned from baseball.
They say it's the same way with
insane.
soccer too. Like that just must be like times 10.
They were taking a premium from the players, and then Major League Baseball, it got exposed. So Major League Baseball said, we're not buying any Mexican players until you have
till you
a
fix it up.
standard contract.
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow.
it was because of Major League Baseball and requiring the MILB in Mexico, the LMB in Mexico,
LMB, yeah.
to have a standard clause. And also the one player that broke that system, helped break it as well, was Iris.
No.
No,
It was it's called Chicote Ayala. That's the name of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I think
Yeah.
I've heard that name before.
Yeah. And
So he was playing in the MLB system before. Then he went back to Mexico, and that's when he realized, like, you know what? I'm not playing anymore. I don't give a shit about this. So he started talking about it. He speak up for everybody else, bro. Boom. He got banned from baseball. No more baseball for him and his
Whoa.
entire life.
Basically got blacklisted.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
but
Basically,
some players went. It was a big issue, and it got worked out, and everybody. It's just like minor league players in the U.S. are really abused too. I mean, financially, because they did an analysis. There's a organization called More Than Baseball, and they do a lot of research, and they help the minor league players.
Oh yeah, bro.
Minor league players, you could take a very small percentage of the major league team
Yeah.
and not impact ticket prices or anything, just to pay a minimum wage and even a living wage or a modest wage. But and then Major League Baseball shrunk down the minor league system and put a lot of good players out of, because they shrunk it down.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
It was messed up on 2019. It was messed up. I mean, they just let off a lot of good players. And
wow.
bro, it was just crazy, bro, because well, even for me, it was 2020. It wasn't 2020. It was after COVID and all that kind of shit. So it was just bad, bro, because I was doing pretty good. Everybody were doing pretty good. The thing is, like, for me, and like real story, like for me, I was just like right there. They don't let me off because I was bad. They left me off because I have a story behind that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, my story, it was just like some difficulties in my own life, and I just talk to them and tell them, like, hey, you know what? I can't do this. I'm just going through a lot of shit. Then I just told them, like, I just can't do it. They told me, like, you got to do this, you got to do that. Then they sent me my flights before, I don't even know, June, July, I don't remember the month. And I just told them, like, I can't, bro. Like, they talked to one of my, he was the manager of the Hispanic guys who were like when we got signed, they told us, like, hey, this is the guy, that who's going to be talking to you, this and that. Like, he talked to me and he's like, what's going on? I told him the story and I'm like, I'm just going through a lot of shit. I can't do this. And he's like, okay, I understand. So he's like, let me take a decision. We're going to talk to this guy, then the other guy. Then if they say yes to let you off, we're going to call you. Call me. Probably after a week or so, they call me and they're like, hey, you know what? It's not that you're not good enough, but you can make the team anymore. We're just going to let you off. I'm like, all right, cool. Didn't even cry. Didn't even do none of that shit because I already knew it. You know what I mean? But I was like training, doing all my shit. I was like, hopefully this shit goes away. My mind clears. But not really, bro. Like, when you just go through a lot of shit, bro, it's just like,
Once it's done, it's like
it's just like you're definitely done 100%. That's
like
what I
a
did.
bad taste in your mouth. You're like, I don't want to.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do it anymore. Money is good, but being a minor league player is not. as great as a lot of people seeing. Like a lot of people say like, oh, you're getting a lot of money, you're doing great, but no.
But there's so much more. So much more behind the curtains that people just don't see.
Yep.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, bro, it's like everything, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's like, oh, I mean, I feel so bad now. Like a lot of people go through a lot of shit every day, and everybody wake up and do their best they can. Like as I do, bro. Like,
and that's the best we can do.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wouldn't say that I'm perfect or that I'm not sad about baseball. Sometimes I am, but in a way, I'm just like, nah, bro, fuck this. Like, I got this, bro. Like, I'm gonna be doing something better. I'm gonna do great things in the future. And right now, I'm just trying to do business. I'm trying to buy new businesses with him. He got a business as well. We got a business, and that's doing great. But we gotta get more. You know,
it just starts. Like, it's the tip of the iceberg of what you guys are trying to do.
Right.
Okay.
So tell him a little bit about what you do.
I just have one question. How do you guys know each other?
So how we know each other? So I was going through another shit on 2019. I was going through some shit. Then I needed to do businesses. So my first business that I was starting, so I needed someone first to speak English because I didn't speak any English back then. So
2019?
Yeah, on 2019.
Oh, man, 3 years later, your English has improved a lot, my dude.
Yeah, so I was going to school for English. So I was not that good. And I told my teacher, you know, I just need somebody to speak English. Unfortunately, I don't need someone who is Hispanic or Mexican, whatever. I don't need that because people, the kind of business that we do is more like with American people, like white people in a way. So I said we need somebody like that. So if we're gonna play this game, it gotta be someone like that. So that's when that's when I met him. That's when my teacher started talking to him. Then I say, and I promised him, bro, like I said, I'm gonna speak English someday, bro. Like someday I'm gonna speak English. And he's like, all right, say less. Then I started working on it, bro. I did it, and then here we are.
Well, here we are, big dog.
That's good. That's tight.
Yeah, in the first few weeks, it was like, hey, did you ever see that movie Color Purple?
No.
Was that with
Whoopi Goldberg? Remember that movie?
Faintly, I remember that movie very faintly.
And she was teaching her.
I thought you were gonna say
teaching
Purple
her
Rain.
how to read. You know, and so when he came over, I put Mesa, and then I put table in English, and I refrigerator, and then secador and dryer.
Yeah.
And all over the whole house and the office, I would just put the names of everything,
Yeah.
And it helped them learn English.
Yeah,
I'm just fucking with you. That's just from the.
No,
Color
bro,
Purple.
but it's like for real.
Man,
I believed it though. I believe it. I was like, I wouldn't doubt it.
You got me.
And to be honest, to learn English, it's kind of hard because you can say different things and it mean different things.
Yeah, and it
like
sounds
it's one of the
different.
hardest
it does.
languages. to
Yeah,
learn.
I struggle with that shit still.
That shit is hard.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I struggle.
I always found Spanish really very relatively easy to learn than other languages because it's a little bit more formal and has rules. English doesn't have a lot of rules. That's why it's hard to learn.
Yeah,
that's true.
The rules are not as clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And just so people know,
But no,
I heard him talk Spanish. He talks pretty good Spanish.
yeah.
So yeah, bro. On 2019, it was just that stuff. I was going through a lot of shit. I was doing the stupid shit as well. So, I would say just in a way that I'm thankful that he came in the right
at the right time.
At the right time. That's it. Because that's the right word. Because when you're with someone who's older, who's like every day telling you, "Hey, do this. This is the right way to do it," bro. Trust, bro. Like. Even if you fight it, even if you're like, fuck, bro, I'm not gonna pay attention to what he's saying, or I don't give a shit what he's saying. I was like that in the beginning, not gonna lie to you, bro, because I'm coming from somewhere different.
Yeah.
And I was just struggling in the beginning, but I'm just thankful right now, bro. Like who I am is because him,
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm good.
No, actually, I think that was actually a good thing though, because like you said, you didn't want to get like another like Mexican or Hispanic person like that. I think maybe like you probably would have gone to like a simulator with that person, and then probably would have probably not worked out in the end, and like when you work with someone who's like a different mentality, comes from like a different background, it just gives you a totally different new perspective of where they came from.
Right, exactly.
And you just basically you grab like all the positive thing like, from him and his life story, and you can just build up on that.
Yeah, bro. Like his story is crazy, it's great. I mean, all I can say is like I'm super thankful because like here we are. Yeah. I'm a better person, I would say, for him. I'm this person because of him. Mm-hmm. Because if it was for me, bro, everything would be like bad. It would be different. Because back then I was just thinking like I'm just gonna do this, then I'm just gonna go back to Mexico. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that's how it is, you know. But
when we're young, we tend to think like things are that easy to be fixed, and sometimes it's like, oh no, you know, the hole's a little bit more deeper than just a foot.
Yeah,
I would say you learn a lot for someone who's gone through some shit.
Yeah, bro.
I always say, or even not through a lot, but the experience of that person has been through will help you up a lot.
It's better to stand on someone's shoulder than on their face.
Yeah,
like think about. I mean, when someone's trying to help you, it's not all the one expression, when the student is willing, the teacher will appear. Mm-hmm. You know, and I kind of always had a sense of like enjoying, like, I don't know if you want to call it mentoring or helping, because I do like to help, you know, as much as I can. And I can remember the first few projects we did on the cars compared to now.
Bro,
I would hate working with them. I used to there wasn't enough Xanax to get through the day to do. And I remember one time we were installing some side skirts on the car, and we had to get the right kind of pop rivets. I don't know if you know what pop rivets are, but so I measure everything carefully, do things, lay it out, and he's like, "Nah, you just got to do things. You can't think about it. You just got to do it." And he put a lot of pressure on me, and I go, well, we need to lift the car up and get underneath it and check the clearance and do a dry fit. And I don't know what you're saying is a dry fit. And I'm like, oh my God. And I said, okay, we'll just do it. Okay, what do you want me to do? So he rivets it on, and it's backwards. not only it's not backwards, it doesn't line up with the body, and he's like, well, you got to fix that shit, Tom.
That sounds like
you got to fix that shit, Tom. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You're the one that was in a big goddamn hurry, and you know. And so I didn't get mad. I took the Sawzall, cut it off, and I thought, okay, is the lesson picked up? Then he wanted to put the Nito letterings on the tire, and I go, well, you need to lay it out. He ordered the lettering. I actually want to lay it out before you put it on and make, you know, fuck that. And he puts them on, and he calls the guy, and he's all mad at him because they're not the right way. And that guy goes, dude, you put them on the wrong wheels in the wrong direction. And he pulls them off and glues them back on. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be, I'm going to have a long life.
Bro.
And I go, did you ever think of reading the directions? What the fuck? I'm not going to read the directions. And because I mean, you can tell maturity. I mean, we all don't read directions at first.
Yeah.
And a good product doesn't need directions. But let's face it, some products you need directions.
Yeah.
Or you need a quick start guide. And so whenever we do stuff, I'm very careful because I don't want to break shit, you know. And then I liked his enthusiasm, but I like the fact that when he would first do stuff and it would be subpar, or like that's not. And then I would get blamed for it somehow. Like you've got to fix that, Tom. I go, what the fuck? You got to fix it.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even touch that.
I mean, and I was just like, and it's like a comedy routine. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So I'm thinking, you know what? I've sucked it up for a long time and just thought, you know what? You know, the light bulb will go on.
Yeah.
Or I'll, you know, my head will explode. One of the two. So far it hasn't exploded, and we're pretty good. Now, I mean, but I have to say, on balance, like when I got back into racing, I thought, oh my God, I was really kind of nervous. And I hadn't been on the drag strip since, you know, 17, 18 years old. And,
oh, wow.
And because we did course racing, and it was just like, you know,
it's different.
Club racing is just, it's just bullshit. You know, it's just, you know, no passing league. It's like flag football. You know, you're not even get your shoes dirty, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, I was really nervous. And then he got out of his car and he came over and he goes, you're just going to do fine. And that meant a lot,
Yeah.
And then he's like, and I play classical music when I'm racing, right before I'm racing, because to me, I want
you want to be calm.
I want calm, but more importantly, I'm trying to find something with the same, like the metronome of the Christmas tree, and that because your reaction time, you can have a great run, and your reaction time, your RT, can kill you, can kill your time. So I'd have a good run and a crappy RT. And that's the one thing you can control. That's why drag racing, when people say it's not a sport or something, bullshit. It's human It's the human element that makes it competitive.
That's true.
I mean, because otherwise, Tesla.
Dude,
I mean, you can
sauna. Being in a sauna is considered a sport. So I'm pretty sure that's a sport too.
Well, I mean, anything with the human element with that. I mean, it's not like you could just program it, and so the adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And then getting things right and timing. So that's his element. But I thought it was really nice because the times when I would think, he didn't know, I was okay to be pushed a little.
Yeah.
Because he's more assertive and aggressive on that stuff. And I'm like measure twice, cut once. But now it's nice because now after we race, we talk about it, and there's a real technical element to it.
Yeah.
And that's what he's really good at, is like he whips out the laptop, he plugs it in, he does the Ecotech. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, he's way into it, and he's tuning stuff. And because before I said, hey, we got to watch the tire pressure. We got to learn, I knew those elements, but today tuning your car takes a lot of smarts, and it's not just you. There's 4 or 5 people involved behind the scenes helping us make sure the weather, everything. So to me, that it's a lot more fun than just getting in and mashing the gas pedal.
That is so cool.
Though it is a lot. It's a big rush though. I mean, after the first time, it's
fun.
It's a lot of adrenaline. It's a lot of preparation. And now I see how much care and attention he takes of things to do the drag racing. Like he's really, and to me, is like he's thinking through all the different angles and pushing things and doing things to my car. And at first I was like, don't touch my car.
Yeah.
For real.
Because I know how I was like, he's going to take a part off. Yeah. And whenever I see him with a wrench, I'm like, not now though, but at first I was like, whenever I saw him.
Especially after that first try.
Oh, God.
Bro.
And I used to have all my tools were organized.
Yeah.
In the right, everything. I used to say, everything has a home, And,
yeah.
And then now we have a lot of homeless in the garage.
Yeah. A lot of missing.
The tools
missing tools.
The tool. It's like, so I bought my own set of tools, and I have a big padlock on it.
Do you guys follow NASCAR and all that stuff, or
I
Formula One?
I don't really follow NASCAR for a couple reasons. Not so. I could follow it now a little bit more.
Yeah.
But oval racing is. I mean, I grew up with the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring.
Really?
I mean, Grand Prix is a lot of movement and it's a course change, but oval racing is. I'm not. It's a sport and it's competitive and there's a lot of skill involved. Don't get me wrong, but it's boring. It's like the last 3 minutes is like all you need to see. Maybe some. And people kind of go for the wrecks more than anything. NASCAR, they brought it up and notched it up, but it has some very racist roots. Until Bubba Smith came in, the African American racer.
Yeah, they found like a lynch in it, as like a noose in his garage, or was that?
Yeah, it's just. I'm not saying NASCAR racers are racist because that's not fair.
Yeah.
But to me, when you're on the drag racing, like there's a lot of people that came up to me when I was in the ready line, and I thought, oh my God, they're gonna say some shit to me because I had my windows down. And I'm playing, hip hop and stuff, and just really some bad lyrics.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm just enjoying it because I want to keep the adrenaline going and having some fun. And the guy came over, and I thought he was going to tell. And actually, he goes, "Hey, I want my kid is a junior racer, drag racer, in the top fuel drag racer, mini or whatever it's called, and he loves GTRs. Can he come over?" It was the guy looked like he was out of Sons of Anarchy. I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna get fucking killed here because I'm playing this shit. And they were laughing because then I would play some Mexican music, or not Mexican, but Latin music and stuff. And
then it'd be like, then if it was Mexican, people would be like,
And I was getting because they were at the start line.
Yeah.
And I was doing it to make them laugh because they're like, oh no, that because I was trying to embarrass them.
Yeah.
And I was playing some wacky shit, and it was funny, but I kind of got taught a lesson because you in the drag racing, you're competitors for like 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy, the guy that I just crushed, he's like, he came next to me and I thought he was going to, he's like, hey, that's awesome. What do you got? What'd you do to it? And I really felt good and haha, but I'm not that kind of a racer. The only one bad sport maybe that I've encountered, that they, but beating the Mopars and the overamped American cars.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's some really good sleepers. I always like sleepers, the mentality of a sleeper.
What's a sleeper?
A sleeper is understated and hugely powerful. And in other words, like say you got a 4-door Camry, you got a mom car, and the Porsche revs up its engine, and then you leave them at the light.
Oh, okay.
That's a
that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a way of
Okay.
It's a way of giving someone the middle finger. Then there's the opposite, the cars that are more noise than motion.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear them a mile away because they sound like kazoos.
90% of them right now.
I have a question. Have you ever been to like a race like one and it like tempers flare and like someone pulled out like a knife or
no,
doesn't really get like doesn't get
Well,
like
at the
too-
racetrack, it doesn't get like that.
Parking
bad.
lot does.
Parking
Really?
lots
The
does.
parking lot can.
See, they don't keep it on the field. They know it's like, meet me in the parking lot. I got you.
Insurance
Not on
reasons.
here.
Right.
So I don't want to get. I don't want to get banned from
Yes.
the thing.
But what's so funny is that when you're done racing, a lot of the racers are helpful if you're still racing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, hey, I'm not using this ice anymore. You want to ice your engine down, and but up until it's just game phase, and I'd say the problem in the demographic shift in drag racing.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 trends that are hurting automotive sports right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like any sport or anything that doesn't have like the base getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, you have to expand the reach in the category like NASCAR did.
Mm-hmm.
You have to reach out to more because, if your demographic is going away, your sport's going to go away. Most of the people are older than me racing.
Yeah.
And not, because it's not a rich man sport, drag racing, but we're seeing, I call it the browning of the demographics of America.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting more and more of the Hispanics, so they need to bring some of that culture to the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit different than what people are used to.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. I remember the first, I don't know the origin of the 2-step or the low rider thing they do at the events, but they're making it adapting culturally to the demographic.
Yeah.
And that's the key. And street racers are mostly young kids, and we don't street race at all.
Mm-hmm.
And because we bring it to the racetrack. So it's a good environment, and it's not, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, all the motorsports were more like, Confederate flags and and beer bellies. Because the Indianapolis 500, in my opinion, used to just be, the infield was just a drunken fest, a reason to get drunk. And I liked the Indianapolis 500, and don't get me wrong, and I went to it many times, but motorsports, especially NASCAR, always had a lowbrow, and then they revamped the image, and they brought in more, and they need to, and I think
they gotta try to copy a little bit like Formula One, and like they do like Mexico City, they do Abu Dhabi, Singapore. They're it's a global thing.
It's a global thing.
Have you seen the?
I haven't met a lot of fans. I've known this one person is that these people are the ones that are actually fans of Formula One are like diehards.
Formula One transcends. It's international, and it's a franchise that is incredibly good, and it's interesting, and it takes in global brands.
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR, I don't think they do NASCAR in Canada. I don't think they do it in Mexico.
Formula One is going to be in Vegas actually.
No way.
I swear to God, bro. I've been talking to my friend. Well, I sold my first GTR to him, and he became my friend. So you know where this road? What's the name of it? In Vegas, the most popular road,
The strip.
the Strip.
Yeah.
They're gonna do it right there, bro.
Wow.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like
So
amazing, bro. It's
Yeah,
gonna be great on 2023.
He's
Wow.
Filipino.
Yeah, he's Filipino.
And,
Oh, wow.
and
That's
see,
gonna be
see
a-
the Spanish-speaking world. I mean, you have to realize the Spanish-speaking world is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, after Chinese, I mean, I'm not a linguist, but I mean, English and Spanish, and then Chinese, and then, I mean, think about it. I mean, if you're marketing, I mean, the Latino culture isn't a monolith of one, but Formula One, it was a good observation.
Yeah, it's so true.
It transcends, and it's classy, but all the different economic groups could cheer for it.
Didn't a Mexican win the Grand Prix? This
Yeah,
year,
Checo
last
Perez.
year?
No, no, I don't know which one he won though.
I know
if he won
one
the-
of them won a Grand Prix. I just can't remember. I just remember seeing it, but I can't remember the details of when it went. I think
I know
it
he's
was
won a
this
major
year.
race recently, but I forgot. I don't know which one he's won.
But
he's-
here's the thing: very few, you don't see the Chinese in Grand Prix yet. I don't think, do you?
No.
But
I
again,
think
here-
NASCAR
the-
went to Japan once.
yeah, the
Tokyo
thing is-
Drift.
Yeah, you have to. Yes,
That one is a good one. I
love
love
my
that
favorite
one.
movies.
That's my favorite one.
you'll see the ascendancy of some Chinese brands, and their entry point will be these major global sports. Because name one major Chinese brand. The Koreans penetrated the brand thinking, because you can think of Lucky Gold Star, you can think of Kia, things like that. But China, you don't think of too many, but they're a huge market.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of ignorant.
That's why I always try to keep it cool with the NBA. The NBA does not want to mess up their China.
Oh,
Their
it's a huge
But I'm just
market.
gonna say
It's
this:
huge.
like me, when it comes to like those drag racings and that, I'm gonna be honest, right? I had a very ignorant view of it. But just talking to you guys, it's giving me a different perspective, and now it just seems like, wow, it is totally opposite of what I originally thought.
It's
before,
you might think it's really redneck, but it's really mixed. There's a lot of.
I wouldn't say like my thought wasn't redneck, but for me, it seemed like a waste of time. Like I was like, well, what's the point of that?
Right.
But just talking to you guys and actually learning.
he was afraid he was gonna get knifed.
Afraid to get knifed now.
But but it's also a learning for people. Like, hey, like maybe instead of like trying to judge something, like
it's very technical.
get one person, really talk to them, someone who actually knows, not maybe someone who's barely beginning, but someone like you guys who've been there, and it's just amazing just hearing like what you guys do at the track, how much time you spend on the GTRs,
Yeah, it's a
all
lot
the
of prep.
work you guys do to prep, all like not only physically but mentally, with the music. That's just amazing to me. That I'm like, man,
I have a question.
like
Would you
my
guys ever
ignorance
like?
was at levels like I'm like I just feel like a dumbass right now.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's
But
all
it's
good.
awesome
It's all
because
good.
like I like learning new things.
Yeah,
So
no.
I thank you guys for
Yeah.
being here.
Have
too.
you ever
you're
have you ever
welcome.
been to the Baja 2000? The one sold.
Bro.
We're
Okay,
just-
speaking about that, so I got one of my friend. Well, not my friend. It's like, okay, the guy is my coach, and I believe his brother-in-law or something. I don't even know. So this guy, he goes to Mexico, bro, and he competes like out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
bro, that thing is badass. He showed me some pictures. I have never like been right there at all, but it'll be really interesting.
There's the my brother competed not in the Baja car rally, but he did the motorcycle one.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
the one
a
you go
badass
off-roading?
one,
Yeah,
bro.
off-road one is
Oh.
incredible.
That's even
I
better.
think, what was that famous actor that did the Baja too? Was it Newman? Was his name? Paul Newman.
Newman? Okay.
Yeah, he did that like 3 times.
He was an incredible racer. He said he was an actor to support his racing habit.
So I got a question. So, what's your favorite sport like from you guys? Like, what's your favorite sport?
My first sport. I gotta say soccer,
Soccer,
and basketball.
basketball.
Soccer, basketball, boxing, right there.
Randy.
Nice.
For me, it's probably boxing's probably number one because I've been watching boxing since I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Every birthday, my birthday falls on September 14th. So a lot of times we'd order the fights. I know my uncles and cousins weren't going to see for fucking celebrating my birthday. They were fucking coming to see the fight because we always ordered the fight.
Yeah.
So for me, it's been boxing, but then recently with MMA, and train a little bit of wrestling and jiu-jitsu, it made me a big, it's given me a different perspective in life, like a lot. Like I've been more patient. I've been, because like just doing jiu-jitsu, sometimes you're in a bad spot. And a lot of one of my coaches, like Tom or Danny, would tell me, like, when you're in a bad spot, don't freak out. The number one thing you got to do, stay calm, decide what you're going to do. Feel where your opponent is at. Feel what you got free. What you're going to do.
Breathe.
Because the moment you start freaking out, you get yourself in a worse position. Next thing you know, you're just asleep. So for me, like, just doing boxing and MMA, for me, it's like, I truly love those sports. I love training in them, even though I've never competed, but I just love training. But it's something where it's like what I learned there, I put into my life.
Oh,
That's great.
We like MMA.
Yeah, I like MMA a lot.
Like to go to.
A lot.
MMA. I don't like. I mean, I watch the Luchador and the big time wrestling worldwide. That's pure entertainment.
Honestly, I don't know what happened, but I was like, when I was a little kid, I obsessed with wrestling.
Wrestling was
obsessed.
amazing.
But then something happened where like it kind of switched. Like, I'm not gonna shit on John Cena, but when he started getting in there, that really kind of like I was like the Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. But once like it's
Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage,
like Doink the Clown, like old school. I like that old school stuff. And now I feel it's too like.
Shane McMahon, he had a cool one.
Oh, and that new guy that's doing MMA, the actor. What's the guy?
Oh, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt and the other guy oh my gosh, I forget his name, but
Liam Neeson.
No, not Liam Neeson. The guy that Paul.
Oh, Jake Paul.
Oh,
Jake Paul. Okay.
No way. That's ridiculous.
I mean, remember. Controversy builds the excitement.
Yeah.
And it's a formula.
It is a formula.
And they're all just playing a formula. That's all they're doing. They're just 100%. Playing the hype. And but it's interesting. And I learned more about Jake Paul and those promotion of the fights through the social media.
Honestly, I give that guy props. He's very smart. Those Paul brothers. Yeah. Oh, they're smart.
100%.
You gotta give them due where it's due, because those guys they know how to market themselves.
They've not stumbled into it, and they're enduring. Look at the people that are the flash in the pan. That the people that don't have a strategy. There are very few people that are successful overnight that last. Sometimes that adversity and the failure or perceived failure. There's no failure if there's a lesson.
100%.
And
100%.
And in life, you can do everything right, just like in business. You can do everything right, and then something goes against you that you can't fix. I did some one design sailing when I was younger, and I did the bilge keel racing on boats and these 1 to 3 man boats. And I pushed myself to learn to be more competitive, because I usually just do things like track. I played some football, but it didn't really, my brothers were more aggressive. I was more of a thinker. I had to find something that could bring the competitor out, but thinking. And sailing was a perfect metaphor for life. You can do everything right, and the wind blows a different way all of a sudden. You can't control the wind. So you have to be ready. And I can remember the first time I flipped the boat, and the captain that I was crewing for he goes, "Get your fucking fat ass up." And I wasn't fat at the time. And he goes, "And then let's get this boat over, and you had to stand on the keel and get it back." And he goes, "We're not done. We're still in the race." And he taught me how, if you get knocked down, get back up. And I thought, wow, we just got knocked out of the race. And he goes, "No." He goes, "We can make it up. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." He goes, "I'm racing for 30 years. You're here. You're movable ballast. Get your ass going, Tom." And I just laughed my ass off, because I look back at that, and he was, on the boat, he was a crazy maniacal person, but off the boat, he was just super chill. And he's like, I learned a lot from him. And so sometimes being pushed is where is a space you got to be in.
Yeah.
And you got to be, and I learned a lot from him. I look back on it, but the metaphor is like in all these different sports, you know, like sailing's it's pretty guero. Tennis has been conquered by it, but if there's no bulwark of new blood that's different ethnicities, it's just going to be perpetuated as that image. Like tennis was a hard one that got cracked, and golf, like Chichi Rodriguez and the old school. So I think motorsports, though it's expensive, when we were down racing in Mexico, I mean the Mexicans they loved it. I mean, not that everybody loved it, but there's a sense of racing and they get it. The things that are going against automotive racing, as I alluded to earlier, environmental concerns. So we race with ethanol, E85, if you're out there, and so you can't get any more, environmentally friendly than E85 as a fuel. At least that's the idea. And the mentality of pollution control and things like that. But again, pollution is more about having cleaner fuels as opposed to the engine. So if
That's
you have
true.
super clean fuels, you have good
You get a
results.
cleaner,
Right.
A
So
cleaner
if you burn
burnout.
natural gas, your engine's going to burn, basically your exhaust is CO2 and water vapor, or mostly water vapor.
Basically, what we breathe out.
Yeah. So, or, I'm not an expert on what the exhaust quality, but I'm saying that everybody moves. The environmental movement, everybody's looking down on racing. So we do E85, and oddly enough, E85 being an alcohol burns at a higher temperature and yields more energy, and so it's pretty good for unit wise.
I never knew that. I just learned something. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, and that's well, because one of the things we produce in the past was E85, and we produced biodiesel, and we produced CNG and RNG, renewable natural gases and stuff. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is the demographic curve, the environmental curve. People that don't adapt to the new mentality, they're going to be left behind. And America is slow to embrace the Latin culture a little bit more every day, and less tokenism and real leadership. So when I see people like the hosts at the Cloud, people going out there and doing business and trying that, I respect that, because that's really what America is about. If you earned it, it's yours.
100%.
Yeah, and whatever whatever you do. And so for me, and I see people that are trying to better themselves, that's the difference. It's not expecting someone else to do something for you.
100%. I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree to that.
Yeah, we have to have another one because maybe we're out of time. But I do want to put a plug in for the new religion I'm starting. I want to take votes. It'll be Bill Maher, and we probably have to have, like I said earlier, George Carlin and Kathy Griffin. And that would be like two of them are still alive, so maybe we have to work it out.
Maybe you should just wait till they all kind of check out,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or get some placeholder comedians.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh man, but that's amazing. But also, I want to say, Mr. Tom Anonymous, what is that you do, and how is it like, you've been able to, I won't say mentor, but you've been able to help Alfredo, like.
Well, for me, I liked business, and they don't do it anymore. But I started out with a paper route, and I had to overcome my own, I always tell people that smart people and lazy people have something in common. They want to do it, or they don't want to do it. And if they do it, it's going to be done quickly. And
that's a good
so
one.
I had a paper route when I wasn't supposed to, because my uncle was the manager of the newspaper distribution system for the other city, and I would fill in periodically, and I'd help out, and I like to have my own money. So, but I hated collecting, because back then we didn't have Venmo and
PayPal.
You had to go
this.
collect. You deliver the papers, and then you had to go out and collect, and I hated it. So they had a program that we pushed to start called PIA, paid in advance, and people would give me a check to pay me, 1 to 3 months in advance. I'd try to get them to pay 3 months in advance. Remember, the paper was like 90 cents to $1.50 something a week, you know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I'd collect, and I had like 98% of my route paid in advance. So the newspaper had to write me a check every week, because before you used to pay for your papers, and then the difference between what you collected and what you kept was your profit. And they go, we don't know how you did it, but you got everybody paying in advance. Well, you know, I loved that because I hated collecting. I saw it as and then I just started being really efficient. My dad had a full-time job, and he had a business too, a dimensional lumber business. And I learned, you know, he worked really hard, and I thought, well, okay, I don't want to work this hard. So I wanted to get smart. And my brothers, and then I worked always 2 jobs. And I thought, you know what, that's, you know, and I think the balance, again, you talk about that yin and that yang. Like I'm big on like just saving, you know, like, okay, I'm going to need it someday. And then Alfredo said, hey, you know what, let's, if you put this on your car, like today we were driving over, and he goes, and we're driving over to Vegas, and we're getting some new exhaust pipes, titanium for your car, and you're getting a really good deal. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money on titanium.
So for me, it's not that I don't believe in savings. I do believe in savings, but I believe in investments.
Yeah.
And
it's like if you know you need it.
Real estate.
Okay. So we'll say in a way, and I hear a lot of people, and this makes me kind of mad because I believe it's stupid what they say. A lot of people say, don't invest money in a car because you're going to be losing money at the end, like all the time. Like if you put something in your car, then...
Like right here. I'm part of that ignorance for the longest time. And I'm glad you're going to tell me why I'm fucking ignorant.
A daily driver's never going to make you money.
So we'll say,
usually.
I agree.
It depends what kind of car do you drive. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the GTRs. So if you have a GTR and you buy it stock, 100% stock from the factory, it's making 500 horsepower or whatever. So
to the wheel.
Yeah, to the wheel, whatever. So, bro, okay, you pay $65,000 for it, and if you do the work and you go full tons on the car, bro, that increased the value of your car $15,000 to $20,000.
Yeah.
So you say like, wow. A lot of people will say it's nothing. A lot of people will say, I don't have the money to do it. But if you do it, you're gonna
come up. You're gonna come up. You're gonna make a profit.
Yeah, you're gonna make a profit, and a lot of people do not see it like that. I do see that is an investment
because some people. The thing is,
so we'll say
some
my
people
car
don't have the time.
Yeah.
To get it done, but they want the performance.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they'll pay you a premium because you already have it done.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I was amazed because this is what he was telling me about the GTRs, and I was looking at the depreciation curves and the reasons why the GTR was higher value in resale. And there was this guy that was predicting this huge drop in the price of GTRs because when GTR comes with a standard 5-year warranty or 4, whatever it was, or extended, and they saw this big, it didn't happen. They went up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So experts that are predicting things, you have to remember
that's an opinion.
Supply and demand
are to
determine the price.
Exactly.
Not your opinion.
Not the opinion. Yeah, like anybody can
but
predict
he got
something.
it.
So I would say the first car that I bought, it was not the first car, the first GTR that I bought. We paid for it $62,000, right?
Yeah.
Plus we have to pay the sales tax. We're not gonna include that.
No.
So they don't even do it.
You know, you want to say 2 things in this world that are guaranteed is death and taxes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we paid $62,000 for that vehicle, bro. It was. I told them I wanted a full button and I wanted with some nice rims, right? So it was a color that I like, pearl white with black accents. So $62,000 on 2019. COVID, it was really bad. Okay, 2020, 21, the GTRs went up in value like crazy. It was like my car right now it's worth probably $90,000 to $85,000. So it's just
That's
like
a $20,000 markup above 20.
yeah.
Well,
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
So the car that I just currently have is a 2015 Nissan GTR, right? So we did all the upgrades that we can. It's a lot of money into it. I put it in the market for just a good price, and people still telling me, bro, are you really asking that price or you want more? And I'm like, so am I doing something wrong or am I doing something good? Because people is like, they're willing to pay even more for the vehicle,
Yeah.
even if I pay less for it.
Yeah.
Well,
As-
like even the other one, it even with all the improvements, it's still about 18,000 more than what I paid for it 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So you're in a class of cars. It's the demand pool.
Yeah.
Everybody raised on Fast and Furious.
That is so true. Yeah. GTR
And
Skyline.
and I had someone say to me one
Do
time,
people even call them Skylines anymore?
No.
Bro.
They call them just
No.
GTRs, right?
No, when they dropped when the Skyline, when it went to the R35, they dropped the Skyline phrase or the marketing.
So right now, bro, like I just believe the best car to buy is not because I own the car. It's just because
From your experience.
from
and
my
what you know.
experience, bro, it's a GTR.
Yeah, but
That's
also
the way to go.
He campaigns it and he gets good times.
Yeah.
And that's what people want to do.
So right now, I got a person who offered me a McLaren 570, then a Ferrari Italia, and his asking price is $165K for it. Bro, my car is a lot more than that right now, and it's a GTR with all the upgrades, and we pay a lot for it. Yeah, that's great. But bro, like, I mean, I'm not gonna compare a GTR with a Ferrari or McLaren, like never. But bro, they're asking 165 for it. I mean, I can just sell my car and buy them together, like the Ferrari and the McLaren.
Yeah.
And it's just a GTR, you know what I mean? It's just a Nissan. So I don't know, bro. It's just like, it's crazy. I would just buy a GTR. Like we have one for sale right now. We're trying to sell a 2009. It's a Nissan GTR. It's almost stock. We just got it tuned, all that kind of stuff.
I'll give you $1 for it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a really good price, bro. Like a lot of people who wants to buy it, that's a good price.
But the thing is, it's a niche market. Again, know your market.
Yeah, exactly.
Know your
Know your
market.
market. Know your market.
Yeah.
Know your market. And it's just there's and then my philosophy that I learned later on was, once I'm a buyer, I'm a seller.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find, that's how you capture the value. And that's like I remember, I mean, when he got the first one, and I thought, it's just I was this is why generationally and culturally you have to open your eyes, because if you get too focused on, hey, that's not your experience, like you said earlier, Randy, if you're open to the experiences, we mock what we don't understand. You can call it whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But at first I was like, I never wanted to say it was wrong, because just because you're older doesn't make you right. But the market signals you things. And I said, damn, he's right. I said, look at this. Because I remember when I was looking for mine, he would give me some shit, because I was like, wow, this is a 2012 and 2014, and this one, and why is this one 95,000 and this one is 38,000? And
back then,
he was explaining, wait a minute, read the list, what's on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the titanium exhaust. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like,
so now we need it.
And then on my BMW, my daily driver, we put ceramic and carbon fiber brakes on it, and I put oversized brakes slotted in. Oh my gosh, the performance on that BMW, the stopping power was kind of funny. He goes, well, Tom, you're the only person I know that will put money into the brakes before you amp up the engine, Mm-hmm. And I will, because it's my daily driver. Right. And I get a lot of dummies that that, how many times.
Yeah, California has some really bad drivers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it.
Braking is important in California. Okay,
definitely 100%.
Oh my gosh, I sat there and so I put the slotted and because I had to change the rotors anyways, so I just upgraded them, and then I went to carbon fiber and ceramic, and so I don't have to replace them ever again. So yeah, but I got a good deal on them and everything. But I was telling, I tended to keep cars forever, and the GTRs have more of a sense of maybe selling and flipping and buying.
Seems like GTR is like the real estate of cars. Like legit GTRs
For me, it
are the
is.
ones.
For me, it is.
Well, it's its own market. There's people like they're obsessed with that.
And
That's like their
This
that's
is
their
why
thing.
I'm like, dude, it's so cool that not only do Alfredo, you came on, which I'm thankful for, and also Tom, I didn't even know you were gonna be on today till
he wrote me
the
in.
last minute, which was so cool, you know, because also, as I said before, there's a lot of things I don't know, and I say that I know in the future. I'm gonna tell myself you were really ignorant back then. And with cars, I had this view of all the cars together. You'll never make money on cars. Like, it's just dumb. But like the fact that I'm sitting down with you guys are actually getting into detail why certain cars, and how you said it's not every car that's gonna make you money, but once you have that niche and you know the market and you know what cars in demand, what cars are when you put money into them. You make money. It's a real estate.
But Randy, fundamentally, is the things that everyone always says is like find something you enjoy and make money at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I liked cars, but I never modified anything. I was an OEM, perfect.
Keep it.
The factory knew what they were doing, And now I'm like, I think we can do this.
Yeah.
I think
So
and
this
that's
story,
why I'm just like, it's just so cool that I've learned so much from you guys, and I'm like, man, it's just so cool. Like how much more, just little information you guys have told me, I have a different perspective. I'm gonna look at things very different now.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for that. Like,
you're
really
welcome.
Thank you. I was a surprise invite. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go do this. You can come along, and I say, and then I thought it was really cool, and we were bantering earlier, and I thought if that's the way it is, I'm down. I like that.
like me, like for me, it's like I when I started doing this podcast, I thought I had a vision, and it wasn't until now, like a few months ago, I've kind of realized what I want the vision to be of the podcast, and for me, it's just like I just want people to go on there and not have to track around shells, like be you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because one thing I've learned in life, like I can hate somebody, but I'm gonna be still. I try to be as open minded as I can that I can still learn from that person.
Exactly.
And for me, it's like I may dislike someone, but you know what? I'm still gonna listen to it because there's some things I can still learn.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're not always gonna like everybody we meet, but we can listen and learn from one another. Like I don't, for me, I just wanted this place to be like a safe haven to be people to say whatever they want, and me ask questions on that belief, like, hey, why?
And the thing is to challenge people. I mean, the intellectual ability to challenge people has been stifled in the last 20 years. It's just political correctness has been careful what you say. Well, guess what? Sticks and stones will hurt me. Sticks and stones may hurt me. Names never will, or whatever.
I miss those days. What happened to that?
What happened to be? It just you don't want just people, like everybody having Tourette's and blowing people's shit for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're not perfect. We've all had our meltdowns and stuff. Like can you believe how stupid that person is? But guess what? You don't know. You don't walk in their shoes. You don't want to. But we're overly sensitive. I don't think there's as much racism as
they say there
is. But there is racism, and the only way you
Alabama.
Right. I lived in Georgia, and I can tell you that the code words exist and the dog whistles exist, but the way you break it down is engage people, find commonality. Like when we're at the racetrack, I always in my gut think they all got Trump flags in their trailers, And
yes, sir.
That's funny.
And I'm thinking, you know what? Well, I have a lot of Trump supporters, people that I interact with, and I find common ground, and I can respect a lot of things.
Same.
And but and in the same token, my mission isn't to change them. My mission is to get along with them. And I think I'll say one thing. Maybe the podcast could fill in where the local newspaper fell apart.
Yeah.
We don't have enough local news and local editorial. And because think about it.
And too much opinion.
Right. And think about it. Everybody's hiding behind a lot of glass walls where they can throw rocks at the other person through social media, whether it's 1 foot away or 1 mile or 100 miles away. Whereas in the old days, like the local newspaper, you still went to church or school with these people that you reported on.
Yeah.
So you took a little bit of a measure and had empathy and said, you know, they did the viciousness.
Like you try to understand them.
Yeah.
Why? Like, oh, I get it. It's for, you know.
Well, and that anonymity breeds bad behavior. Because when people can be anonymous, I mean, now there are appropriate things for, you know, there's times for all things, but the internet has decimated the business model of the local newspaper.
100%.
All the advertising, the revenue, the penny saver is gone, the editorial voice is gone. We're leaving people at a very early age to have sophisticated skills, and they don't understand propaganda. See, this isn't propaganda. We're not pushing anything. We're not selling anything. We're not trying
not selling yet.
We're not telling people how to behave. We're not a religion. It's a discussion. And when you have a discussion, the thing that I think is good is, like, I never thought I would have much in common when you walked in. And you and Randy. And I'm like so stoked now, because when you guys said, hey, yeah, because a lot of times I'll say, I feel a little bit of a drift, because a lot of times people are like, I don't know. I mean, they don't know who, you know, they don't know any of the cultural references, like Bill Maher or something like that, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that to me it was nice, and I have to stop myself and not, and I have to watch my prejudice. It's like, oh my God, you know, are they just, you know, are they just, you know, what? And then you had the Scotch. I'm like, okay, cool. He knows Scotch, you know. So those are the things, like, and even if you were a Trump supporter or you aren't, quit giving litmus tests to who you'll be friends with.
100%.
And guess what? It's okay to, you know, the thing I don't understand is the thinking. We don't have anyone growing up. The internet is in your face. From now, this is the first internet age cohort of kids.
To be honest, that's so true.
Yeah, and guess what? Guess what? They don't know what it's like. I mean, I can't imagine. I hated high school because I wasn't like everyone else, and I didn't know. I always felt my ideals were more important than. I mean, I wasn't like had black fingernails or a metalhead or something, but I was sort of just in my own world, and I read a lot, and I would, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't think I'm a total nerd. I probably was, but I wasn't a cool kid. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And did I want to be a cool kid? Yeah, deep down, everybody wants to be a cool kid. But guess what? The biggest satisfaction I had in my life was when I had my first really nice car, and I drove home, and I didn't really want to go home, and the only gas station open was this crummy gas station, not too far from my parents' home, and they still pumped your gas then. In Oregon, they still do.
Yeah. That's where we're from.
And I looked, and I said, it's kind of drizzle, it's starting to rain a little bit. It's Indiana, and I go, God damn, no, it can't be. You know, it's like the Biff moment.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, I was looking through my wallet. Do I have a 50? Do I have 100? You know, make him make that change. You know, and I thought, yeah, I'm doing it. You know, and I gave him the money, and he looks at me, and goes, do I know you? And I won't say names, and I go, I don't think I know you. You know, and he goes, you sure? Didn't we go to high school together? And I go, I don't think so. He goes, oh man, nice car. I go, got change for 100. And so that little moment of like, fuck you, you were an asshole to me, you know, and you're pumping gas in my nice car.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
So who really, So the popular kids, they all don't fail, of course, but the
I
people
didn't.
that really ground your face, like,
Yeah.
and I was more, I lived in my head too much, I think.
Yeah.
But it's okay because it made me a better analyst of things.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I haven't made a lot of bad decisions, but if I've made mistakes or something in business, it's been because I have a trusting nature as opposed to a suspicious nature.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, to me, I've watched how the younger generation, they just live on the damn social media.
They do.
Right.
100%.
And it's unlike radio. It's unlike TV. It's unlike, I saw the advent of cellular phones and the smartphone. I remember when someone said, "Oh, I'm getting a smartphone." I go, "Well, what is this, a dumb phone?" What the hell? I mean, I stopped being an early adopter with the Apple Newton. If you guys remember that.
Apple
No.
The Newton or whatever the hell the first
Like was it like a tablet or something?
Yeah. And I had a Palm Pilot. Remember that? I don't know what you guys told.
Yeah, you didn't have a Palm Pilot.
Back
A
in the
little
day,
stylus,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
also
yeah.
had a keyboard.
Think about it, and I'll say Rolodex. People go, "I don't know what a Rolodex is." And the funniest story I can tell you about feeling old. I was CEO of a company, and I was working with some of the staff, and we were trying to cut budgets and cut expenses on a development project. And I said, "Well, why don't we get a waterbed heater to heat the reactor?" And the guy goes, they all looked at me, and and I'm like, "Oh shit," this is like, I feel like I'm surrounded. I go, "Do anybody know what a waterbed is?" I'm like, and they go, "Tom, why would or Mr. Hens, why would we want to heat it?"
That's crazy.
And I thought to myself, "Oh my God!" I came home and I told Alfredo, I go, "Hey, can you believe they don't know what a waterbed heater is?" And he goes,
I didn't want to say anything.
he goes, "Yeah, they're pretty dumb at your office." But the point I was trying to make is that you can't. I mean, the social reference cues that people have today feed the reptilian brain. That's it. TikTok, I eliminated it. TikTok feeds the reptilian brain. Forget it. It's banal. It's trite. It's repetitive. I was trying to tell people that want to break out on TikTok, there's just certain formulas. Maya, most advanced yet acceptable. You want to. People need a little bit of familiarity, and then they move to a little bit of a space of. It's a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how you really break through stuff on marketing. And then people that just ape other people, they're going to burn out. Think of people that last. Classic things. Why do they endure? Why do classics endure? People respect the effort, the craftsmanship, and it's popular. Like the
time that you put into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I look at things like Banksy, and like in my generation, like people, "Oh, that's just graffiti." No, he took it to a new level.
Yeah.
And he owned it. That's why I tell the guys, own your IP, stamp it and own it. I mean, think of the first true software was music. You could run a printing press, write a song, write the notes, people play it in their living room and the piano, and they sell it, and it's publishing is what it is. It was books too.
Yeah. But
software was music because you played it on something. But this is like on your strategy for your podcast. I started listening to podcasts just maybe 2 years ago, and I was real selective.
For me, it was like around the same time.
Yeah,
it was
for
like
me, I feel terrible because I'm the guy that when Alfredo helps me with the computer, he goes, "Your web browser, you have like 1,000 pages open.
Yeah.
So you want to know why your computer is shit?" He goes, "Don't have so many open." I'm somebody that I really survey things, and then I narrow it down. What's going to feed my brain? What do I like? So that's, I think, we have a lot of fun with it. So his perspectives on life have opened my eyes, whereas before I probably would had a negative attitude.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't fit the narrative that I understand.
And it's crazy
you
how.
know? And there's some things. And then he and I have experienced real racism. How they treat him. Like if I go up to something first, or he goes up first, it's there and it's sad.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'll mess with people and I'll speak Spanish and then he'll speak English. Like when we're at a restaurant, and then they're like, you know,
what is going on here?
Yeah, we've experienced some of that.
So we don't really go out of our way to mess with people, but people that, and the thing that I have experienced too is that the newer generations or these other generations, the ease of adapting. Like today, I had trouble, or was it yesterday? I had an important business meeting on the video meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm wearing shorts, and then I have a nice shirt on and everything. And
yes, sir.
have my hair nice and everything. And I couldn't get my mic to work, and it was the second time. I'm like, this is a damn brand new thing, and I was a little reluctant to turn it over to him because I was like, but he boom, 5 minutes later, boom, it's all working.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, thank you. And so I was like, and then we used his mic and everything. But again, you have to, I don't know. I mean, and the thing I like on the racetrack too is when you're racing, you have to have your windows up. And you don't always see the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because you have a helmet on and you have a visor.
Is the window for the windows have to be able to, because the wind?
Because the winds come in and it's kind of dangerous.
And it can throw your car off balance, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of reasons, safety wise, if something's flying around or.
It's like if you break something on the track, it's like you don't want it to come in and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons that they do it.
Okay.
So you have the windows up, you have your helmets on, you have your jackets and everything. So when you finish, you go around and you get your ticket, your
that's so cool
for the race.
For your guys' next race,
we're gonna go.
I'm gonna try to go.
We're gonna go to Red
your mascot.
And then when they look at you and you take your helmet off and you get out of the car. And then when I was at that air attack race, I was racing these kids from Orange County, and I was racing a bunch of BMWs from Orange County, and they were trying to always race their friend and stuff, and they didn't see me, so I came out with the GTR. So the one guy cut in line to get next to me because you can ask to race with a certain person, and I did that rolling start because we weren't launching. And I did the rolling start, and then I beat him, and I picked up my ticket, and then as we were finishing, and then they weren't too far away, and they go, and the one goes, I got beat by a fucking old man, and I go, no, you got beat by a GTR, an old man driving it. So I always think it's funny because they think it's gonna be a 20-something.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna go to Red List on August 13.
August 13. Oh,
yes, sir. So
and that's tell them where it's at.
So that's gonna be a Famoso.
Yeah. Famoso, that's
McFarlane.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not too far away. It's like
that's
40
not too
minutes.
far away. That's
No, it's really.
Is it on a Friday or Saturday?
13th. I hope it's not on a Friday.
I believe it's on a Saturday.
I think that is too. I didn't have to pull the date. But I talked to the track and I told them they need to do a better job marketing to the demographics that are showing up.
Yeah. Totally 100%.
Yeah, they need a little bit. They need a little bit.
I see more. A lot of the younger generations are starting to do it.
Yeah. I mean, they just ask for too much, like license that I don't have.
because he's running in a higher and higher class. As you go up, you have to have an NHRA license.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because remember the speeds he's going at.
It's like okay.
Well, we're approaching. That car can do over 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And so those higher speeds, they want people that have a little bit more experience. Think of it this way: if someone is 80 miles an hour, that's bad. 125, 150,
that's
180.
Any little sudden movement, you're looking at
major. There's shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Definitely 100%.
and people always, oh, Tom, people get killed. Well, you know what? The chances of getting killed on the drag strip are much less than driving for the same equivalent time on the express.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Exactly.
Yeah, it's like airline travel.
So I have a question for you and for your brother. So how you see yourself like in 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, how I see myself in 5 years, man, that's a tough one. Because I was talking to my brother like that the same way. Because for job interviews, job interviews always ask you the same.
Yeah. He just asked, where do you see you guys selves in 5 years?
5 years, I see myself. God willing, I see myself not having to work anymore, being able to work on my projects, podcast, being able to start to do more dances, get into the music more. One thing that I've been wanting to do.
What music do you do?
More like looking for artists, so it's like Mexican music. But I also got one of my friends who
promoting.
raps. Yeah, so I got one of my friends who raps, and I really want to help him with his career. I got to make him a few videos, which I just remembered. But that's why I see myself. But at the same time, life is life. You can plan what you can do in a year, 2 years, but next, life is always going to throw you curveballs.
Yeah.
So that's where I want to be.
Do you have a plan?
But that's where I plan to be in 5 years. But at the same time, I've learned to live my life one day at a time.
Yes, sir.
How
about yourself?
Yeah.
I'm still with the music stuff. Probably get my pistachio farm going, and
all right,
that's about it. Yeah, we'll see where it goes, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do some traveling though soon, though.
That's good.
Yeah, because I've been a big Anthony Bourdain fan, and that guy's like, you don't know nothing until you've seen the world.
That's so true, man.
Even and I already made a list of the 10 places I want to go, and I'm gonna start knocking that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Pistachios.
Yeah.
It's like California's like the #1 world producer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One of the places I want to go.
They're good. Pistachios are good too.
You know what? I don't even like them though. I don't.
You don't?
No, not really.
Try pistachio ice cream.
Really?
It's a little bit of acquired taste, but it's good.
I
Really?
disliked it, but then I tried it a few
Pistachios are a
times.
little bit of acquired taste, like avocado at first.
Yeah, it's
Really?
It's actually so true.
Probably,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna jump on
100%.
that. I'm gonna test that.
Try that
more.
not avocado ice cream. Try pistachio ice cream.
Pistachio ice cream.
That little bit of nuttiness flavor. But like what you said, I mean, I have run into a lot of people that have the Zen mentality of, okay, in you can get really philosophical. There's only the present, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, fill the arc of your life. What is it you want to do? There are some things that are serendipity, that has serendipitous rather. But the thing I'm making money at now, I did in high school out of just pure interest.
Yeah.
Everything else that I did in between was sort of to build money to go back and do some fun stuff that I wanted, and to feed the fun machine.
Yeah.
And then I thought, hey, let's turn the car passion, the reignited car passion, into a revenue stream and not just a hobby, And for us, that's fun because we bond more on it, and we have a lot. And and again, I mean, I have to say that, just the thought of him and his friends wrenching on the car scared the shit out of me. But now I see a complete, almost 5 years later, I see a sense of being more careful. Like, I'm going to do this right because my life depends on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of,
100%.
just bang it out, And,
Yeah.
and maybe that's a maturation curve too in life. And we all run through that. I mean, come on, when you're at different stages, you do things differently. And hopefully, but I think I've, been a little bit more of conservative, or a little bit more careful in how I do stuff. Like, so for me, it wasn't maybe that big of a leap.
Yeah.
But we're having a lot of fun with them. I mean, I learn I learn constantly how to do things with the car I never knew about.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And
so
I sit there
amazing.
and it's honestly, it's the, when you drive them, you're like, I'm buying one. You don't even like, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's not like I had to figure it out. I just had to go write the check. But you're promoting.
Yeah.
And what got you into promoting?
I don't know, just like our older brother. He's really big into like Mexican music and stuff like that.
He also used to promote
I still
backyard boxing fights in high school.
Yeah, I
Oh,
still
I like
underground
that.
boxing fights in high school and stuff like that.
There's
That's
still some
crazy.
tapes of some of those old fights he promoted.
I
Yeah,
used to
No
see those
way.
on YouTube.
yeah. Oof, I wish I can find them though, but I think it's funny. I think it was fun back then. Like it was fun, and it's honestly, and especially you don't know where you're doing your work at too.
Right.
You see, if you live in an area where everyone is doing the same thing, but if you find your own little spot someplace where you're mainly the one, you're gonna be fine. And eventually, you got to you always gotta have a plan. I always tell people that have a plan.
Yeah.
Don't care how much you're working at it. At least move towards it gradually.
Exactly.
But just find a plan. That's it.
Yeah.
A lot of people these days, like they had a plan, and probably the pandemic got rid of their plan, or there's like a lot of people who people sometimes didn't want to stick to their plan and just got sidetracked, and maybe did something. They're doing something now they don't really want to do, but life pushed them that thing, And I just think you just got to find out what you want to do in life and just pursue it. Be happy, because life's too short to be miserable.
Yeah, and the thing is just like the resiliency. Everything. I mean, I think when I started out, people worked their whole life for one company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the 401k was the way to democratize retirement.
Mm-hmm.
No, it didn't. Defined benefit plans were pushed into government. Originally the teachers and the police and fire didn't have pensions. They, the city thinks.
I believe right now everything is easier. Like everything. Like if you want to open your own business, it's
100%.
easier.
Lot more
way better
tools.
than before, for sure. I just don't like. Yeah, for some period of time you can work. Yeah, but if you don't have your own business, even if it's a small, super small, I just don't know what people's doing. Like,
right.
be
It's like
honest
something
with
that's
you.
yours is
It's like-
different.
Mm-hmm.
Where it doesn't have to. Be
But
big
it's okay if
when
people
it's
don't
yours.
want to have
Yeah,
a
Yeah,
business.
no,
Yeah.
it's 100%. Like, I
Yeah,
don't judge
100%.
people because of that. But like, even for me, when I was working for a dealership. Okay, I was getting 15 an hour, and I was getting paid for my commission after 15 cars. And I'm like, okay, the inventory is super short right now. I do not work for anyone for free, and I feel like 15 an hour for me. I felt that I was for free because I was doing detailing on the side, and bro, I was getting 120 just in 2 hours. And I was just watching a car inside and out. Then I was like, what am I doing at the dealership? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just wasting my time, or am I learning something? Or should I just spend my time cleaning the cars? I know right now it's too hot to do it, but I'm just spending my time finding different businesses that I want to do, because I feel that it's better like that. I know in the beginning it's just a struggle, and you need to get money. You need to save up some money to open your business. Yeah, but if you can do that, just do it, bro. Because that's the way to go.
No, but there's also the sense of either paying dues,
Mm-hmm.
pay your dues. Everybody starts somewhere, and there's no shame in starting somewhere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
But the thing is that people,
It's also no shame in starting over too.
Yeah, the long term success isn't maybe where you start; it's where you finish,
I
Yeah.
agree.
and what you learn along the way. I mean, different businesses that I was like, are how to make, you're either doing transactions or you're trying to build annuities. I always tell people is that you can work with your mind a lot easier now than with your hands. And I respect the people that are learning how to do things and create things. America is a huge engine of ideas and innovation, and hopefully the manufacturing will come back. But what I admired about Alfredo is like he would take lessons from that job, and he would learn, like he learned their software like in record time, because they said, before you can do this, you got to learn that.
Yeah.
And it'll take 6 weeks or 5 weeks. And dude, he's doing it at night. I was like, what the hell? He's like, he goes, yeah, I took all the tests, did all the modules. Okay. And then they every reason they were trying to hold him back, he would clear that barrier. and that's
Yeah.
what I respected, because that's what I call the dedication. Learn the hard stuff, get through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
another thing that I just like, this is crazy because a lot of people tell you this, because you quit a job, a lot of people start judging you. They're telling you like, I mean, you already quit 3 jobs, but bro, like
You
if
just
you
quit
don't
3
see like
They can't see the big picture. They'll never
yeah,
understand.
like if
Mm-hmm.
you're quitting it for a reason. Like for me, I didn't last 4 months on that job. I was just like, so you know what? Fuck this. Like I don't want to work for free. Like I don't want to get paid 15 an hour. I don't want to do none of that stuff. Why? Because I just feel like they're just taking advantage of what I can do. Like I'm just capable to do a lot of stuff, and I just felt like working as a slave right there. I just felt like that, to be honest.
Yeah, and just so those listening, it's like this is how everybody has a different view, and they have a different perspective on things. Like he knew, like being at that job, it's like you knew what you learned already within the few months. It was time for you. It was your time to go.
Yeah.
You knew what you wanted to do. And this is not also, we're not judging people or anything. Like if you work a 9 to 5, like if
Exactly.
you like it, if you enjoy what you do,
Just do it.
do it.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There is comfort in punching your 8
Mm-hmm.
and running
Yeah,
and
there
having
is.
your
And
own-
that's
Yeah.
my thing.
six-
Like I'm
having
not.
the rest of the day yourself.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
And at the same time, there's nothing wrong with, hey, my time's here is done. I gotta go.
Yep. So for me, being honest, I have quit a lot of work, like a lot of jobs. First, if I don't like it, fuck it. I just quit. The other thing, if I like something, like I was at the dealer working for the dealer, and in my mind I was like, I'm gonna open a dealer.
Mhm.
I already applied for my dealer license. I need to get a like a lot just to open my own dealer.
A lot of requirements in California.
So
Yeah.
it's
Not
great.
surprised.
It's great. That experience, I was just like, bro, I'm just making free money for them. Why should I keep doing this? I'd rather just open my own thing and just go from there. It's nothing wrong, bro. Like just like quit your job. If you really know, if you have a plan, that's for sure. You need to have a plan. If you just like quitting your job because you're like, I fuck this.
He had
what I
all the
mean?
research lined
Like
up.
I did have everything.
And be ready
Oh,
to adapt too,
bro.
because things aren't gonna go exactly how you have them planned.
Yeah, like for me, I was just like, damn, I'm just gonna do it because I like cars. I know how to sell cars. Bro, they were telling me like, you don't know how to sell cars right here. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck these people, bro. Like, I do know how to sell cars. If I sell a freaking GTR, you think I'm not gonna sell a freaking Altima or a Sentra?
Yeah.
Like, bro, come on.
He sold cars, and the thing is, how do I say this? There are disruptive people that can see more than what's there, and he was trying to tell them they wanted to keep the training wheels on because that made them feel better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's for me. I just get out of my comfort zone, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care about what people say. I'm gone. I just said like, you know what? Well, they let me go actually because I was sick. I was sick for 9 days, and they just let me off, and I'm like, well, that's cool. I don't give a shit. Why? It's just because, bro, I know what I really wanted, and for me, everything is about cars. So right now we're working some deals for some businesses that we're trying to do, and it's about cars for sure.
That's awesome.
So
that is awesome. Man.
for those kind of people who were like kind of telling me that I can't, then you can do this, you can't do that. Like, you know what? Like, I don't give a fuck what they say to me. I'm here, and we're gonna do it no matter what, bro. Like, I learned that shit since I was 13. People were telling me no, and nobody's gonna come and tell me right now at 22 actually to tell me like, oh, you can't do it, because I know, bro, that I can do it.
Well,
If I put my mind into it, 100% I can do it.
Yeah.
and there is something, Randy, to be said for in this. If you look at the new trends in hiring, Tesla, and Google.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ask you where you were educated. They'll throw some tests and questions at you, and they look at people's ability to problem solve and organize. And it's not always the degree or the school you went to, because let's face it, a lot of people are very good at certain things, but they're not good at real life.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're not confident. They're
Yeah.
not confident on themselves.
And
Because you go to school, I believe this. Like, not because you go to college, not because you do this, not because you're older. None of that shit matters to me. Like,
sure.
100%. I'm young. I went through shit. People go through shit all the time. But if you stick it in your mind that you're gonna be great, that you're gonna be better, and you have a plan, and you put that plan in work, and you make it happen, bro, like that's
100%.
good, bro.
well, think about breakthrough businesses. Sometimes the experts said it couldn't be done,
Yeah.
and they do it because you're not. Again, if you're in the paradigm, the new paradigm doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And when someone tells you something that you don't understand, you only have your own reference. That's why I think companies today, like, it's radical, but if you think about it, who do you want on your team when you're doing something new? I have been involved in a lot of new ventures and new technologies, and you don't want anyone that isn't resourceful,
Exactly.
that can't, that doesn't have a sense of, it may not look pretty, but it works.
Yeah.
Because
And-
you can always dress it up later.
And another
Yeah.
thing that it happens
That's
a
true.
lot is like a lot of people tell you that you can't do it because your age. A lot of people, bro.
That's so true.
I definitely hate people who say like, bro, you're just barely 22. You can't do it. Like,
I always
be
say-
honest, bro. Like
Anybody can be
just
done.
fuck
Dude,
that.
that little
like,
kid can sell toys.
you know what I
What's
mean?
it called? Ryan's World can make
Yeah.
30 mil.
It's just and it shows like some of the ignorance of people.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
I'm
Like, that's
if-
how.
If you look like even in history, KFC, the Colonel, he didn't start KFC till he was 67.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
So I'm like,
age doesn't freaking
Like,
matter.
Exactly.
You know,
and he
none of
sold out
that.
of the trunk of his car, and he took orders over the phone.
Age don't
Yeah.
matter.
and he killed the guy with the shotgun.
No,
that's true. Really, look it up. Yeah, he killed the guy.
Well, I didn't know
That's
that,
different
but-
reasons for
Is that hopefully it's not in the
Bro,
special
like
spice.
it's like as
Someone
I
was selling
said,
chicken in his spot, say that. It was a little turf war, but he won, so it
So
worked out good for him.
It
But no,
don't matter. The age do not matter. I
Well-
always gonna say that experience is something different for sure.
Yeah.
But how the person is gonna get experience if that person don't give you the opportunity to do it?
Yeah.
That's what I hate, bro. Like about those kind of owners, those kind of people who's like, oh, you're too young. I can't give you the opportunity.
Well,
And you
speaking
just
from, like,
gotta-
an
you just
owner
gotta-
and a hirer.
Okay,
there's a
but
lot
you
of
just-
bullshit kids
you just
that
gotta
come in
kinda
and say they can do the job.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but you just gotta kind of
That-
tell the person.
that is kind of 100% true. That and this is one thing right here.
Hiring people, I run into a lot of bullshit.
Like in this conversation, you guys, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're right. He's right because they're both so true.
Correct.
so you use
it's just
the-
like it depends because I would just say they start somewhere. They could be in the beginning terrible. They could be the best, whatever. But you are where you are because you're past. You're like if he's the owner of his company. In the beginning, he didn't have that kind of experience to do it. So he have to go through something and get experience to do what he does. You know? So
Yeah,
that's
true.
a lot of things that
okay. You want to hire people that have confidence and not hubris.
correct.
People that don't. I mean, you have to have people that know enough to get it done. And sometimes it's if you combine age and experience, and you get in skill and confidence, it's a meld. Like for me, hiring a lot of different people of different ages and different backgrounds. I mean, to me, it was always there. You you couldn't. Sometimes the stars and the bullshit artists look the same.
Yeah.
But there are things that you have to test with them.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why you give him 3 months before you give him.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
That is
You
true.
give him 3 months
And
before.
yeah, don't they have
before-
that probation period?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you give him 3 months. So that's when you decide, like, okay, this guy is
Maybe don't
capable
even
to
give him 3
this,
months.
bro.
Let's be in the middle. We can meet in the middle. We'll do 3 months. That's 12 weeks. 6 weeks.
Yeah.
No,
You know what
actually,
I mean?
I've seen someone has a potential, then you could kind of give them leeway.
Yeah,
There's some people that
you
are really
notice
smart,
right
but
away,
really
bro.
have they're like not really into it. You're like, oh, okay, this guy's on a time.
That's what
Or a person who's very creative, but just doesn't know how to control it yet.
The thread that I found was, did they have a passion for what they're doing?
Yeah.
Did they want to really be good at it? Did they really have a lot of interest in it? Or was this someplace to punch the clock?
Yeah, that's true.
And you can tell that, like, there are a lot of studies in happiness and fulfillment and things like that. And people that love their job, a brain surgeon or a floor sweeper, even if you sweep the floors, but if you do a great job at it and you really like it,
Yeah.
fine, do it. Go bust it. You want to be a brain surgeon? There's a lot of unhappy people in their jobs
Yeah.
because they did it for whatever their motivation was, whether security or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I believe that's not good because you're not. You make that decision for your own self. I just believe that if you're not happy in your job, make a better decision.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I used to watch and I could tell when someone had a passion for what they're doing. And, for me, it was developing a sense of excellence in what you do. And Alfredo's seen it, like the different customers and clients and things. Because I work sometimes in from the office at the house or whatever. And he can hear those conference calls, and he can see the video calls, and they'll say, oh, we got that thing from you, Tom, and quite frankly, that was just the most insightful and I can't believe how excellent that was, and to me, it was like, thank you very much, but you're paying me. I'm not, and I always tell people I'm not going to be obsequious.
Yeah.
If you do not, I'm okay if people don't agree with me or my analysis. And I was first to tell someone, hey, like the other day, I said, hey, you know what? The client wanted to rush this call. I said, listen, I haven't been able to check some of the math. I got to make sure I've made some calculations correct. I'm not an engineer. So I said, I could be off by a big number. I'm trying to, because the client, prospective customer gave us some data that wasn't, they didn't use like the standard format.
Yeah.
And they gave me numbers. I'm like, well, I'm trying, I don't know why they use that number, and I said, so I told I said, hey, I could be off. And so I went through it, and right before the call, I said, hey, I corrected it. But he goes, hey, I want that analysis like in 4 hours. I go, hey, this is before, I double check. I said, I do my work. I let it set for 24 hours, and then I revisit it because I had to learn to edit my own work.
Yeah.
Right.
When you work as a team. So what I'm trying to say is that you can have a lot of hubris. You can, and I said, and I told him, I said, hey, you know what? This is my analysis. I might be wrong. It was a quick calculation. Forgive me if I made any errors, because I was asked to do it in just a couple hours, and to get that ready. So I was telling Alfredo, it's like certain environments, it's okay. We're moving fast. We're trying to get it right, but we don't have to get it perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
And entrepreneurs, and there's quite a few that I've worked for and around, and to them, I've always respected their drive, but they always had the passion for what they were doing. They didn't work late because they didn't want to go home. They were working late because they wanted to get more done.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go through those environments and you see those people, so channeling the passion for the cars. And I gave him many speeches over the years of paying dues, and there's a minor league for a reason, because you're developing players. They call it a developmental league because you're developing the talent.
Yeah.
Okay, if everybody was tates right off the bat, I mean, those are rare situations,
Yeah, those are
right?
very hard to find.
But I see, like, from my perspective, I draft on his. Some people might say it's naivete about certain things, but he can give me an unvarnished view of something. And some things I thought, well, what do you think of that? And I always say, what do you think of that? Not because I think I'm going to get, a 2-hour discussion. I usually get a 4 or 5 sentences, maybe a paragraph analysis. That's bullshit for this reason. I'm like, you're right. Or things that I like, different things that he was telling me. I'm like, yeah, because I would invest off of what he liked and didn't like. Because I would buy stocks and different things. Well, what do you like? Because that's, because I didn't have that perspective. So you learn from you can learn from anyone, like you said, Randy. Take away the best lessons. I've had terrible bosses. I've had good bosses. I've had great clients, terrible clients.
That's how it is sometimes.
Yeah, you just you could play. You could be a franchise player on a losing team, or you could be a bench warmer on a winning team. You still get the ring.
All right.
Yeah,
True.
that's true.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I want to, you just got to define that. I think it's cool that you do podcasts. I'm trying to understand, like I said, like a year or so into it, I started doing more listening to certain ones a little bit more regularly, and vetting it.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
How you were going to answer how you got into your podcast? You were going to answer me.
I got into it back in 2019. I started in my room with this same laptop and a microphone.
That's great.
I spent $400 on the equipment of the microphone, and then got some money for the laptop because I did research.
Get a snowball mic.
No, this one's a Behringer.
Okay.
And I started. I think of, like, let's say this is my bed. I had this on a chair in my bed. I had the microphone clamped onto the thing, and that's when I started the first episode.
Who was your first person you interviewed?
The first episodes were just me talking.
Just talking about stuff.
Just talking about stuff. What I've,
yeah, that's what I actually. That's what I do on TikTok,
So,
Instagram, and all that kind of stuff.
Did that, and then had an idea, like, I need to start going more, and then we moved it. My brother started doing it with me, and then
Good.
Daniel comes
Is
to
he?
me. Like,
Is
he wants to
add
do
the
it.
color? You add color to his commentary.
Basically, well, I'm the talent, so I save the day.
Do you ever remember watching the show? Was it Robot 2000 or I forget what it was. And he made fun of the movies. Running commentary of the movies. Did you ever see that? There are some things that it's their shtick. I'll get the correct name of it. I'll tell you later. But I do a lot of reading on what makes things successful or not. And there's a lot of good books. And I was telling Daniel and Eric about them, different ones that you read over the years that are really cool. But there's a thread that I think is really cool in the last maybe 10 years that I've seen. Authenticity in the marketing.
Yeah.
People that are, like, think about this. Patagonia got started because he wanted better clothing. Nike got started because he wanted better tennis shoes. I've always said the best things come from dissatisfaction.
Exactly.
You don't like the way it is. Coffee was Schultz started Starbucks, or his team, or whoever. They wanted to bring the European coffee experience to the U.S. It wasn't that good coffee didn't exist.
Yeah,
It's it wasn't marketed well, and it was seen as kind of snooty or snobby. Like when I was at college, the coffee place was expensive, and they made fun of you if you said latte. I'd like a latte. Ha ha ha. Don't embrace people. Say it's a latte, and embrace your customer and educate them. Don't
shit on them.
There was a whole theory of marketing to just shit on people and make them feel like they need, buy it and brand. Like, I grew up and everyone had to wear brands, and this is the other thing too is. As much as people are really into branding, I think you'd be stronger. But again, be authentic in what you're doing. And I think life is business-wise, if that's what you're promoting, because the shallow people and the crass commercialism. I think the best example is the Island Island Boys phenomenon. When I first saw them say first, I didn't think they had good voices.
No.
They heavily auto-tuned, and not to just dump on them like everybody else is recently, but they really didn't have a sustainable story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and they became, they crashed and burned.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, don't you?
I know you, but I don't know none of their music though.
Yeah, it's
Island Boy.
yeah, it's
The word.
yeah,
the worst,
that's it.
Oh.
But that's good. I'm glad you. And where are you going to take it? What's your plan? Like Alfredo said, what's your 5-year plan?
One of my things, I do want to be able to have my own office space, my own thing. Because one thing that I like to do, I love smoking cigars, especially when I'm doing an episode.
Oh my God!
I'm a cigar person. My brother knows.
You guys
I'm a
like
cigar
cigars
person.
and good.
I'm not a real cigar.
whiskey.
He's a cigar guy.
I'm the cigar.
He's a
person.
cigar guy.
Cubanos.
I love all types. That's one reason I want to live. I want to visit Nicaragua.
You can get
Because-
the Cuban leaf.
Because in Nicaragua right now is coming up as a really good fertile place for cigars because of all the volcanic activity they've been having. It replenishes a lot of the nutrients into the soil. So Nicaragua right now they're making some phenomenal cigars.
That's awesome. Well, I stopped smoking cigars a long time ago, but they're pretty. They had peaked kind of in the 90s and the early near the 2000s.
Yeah, I don't know where he got it from because none of us smoke.
Yeah.
Really?
One of my best
I
friends.
smoke other things,
One
but
of my
not
best
that.
friends. One of my best friends. Her dad taught me, showed me the things, and I fell in love with it. It's an art form for me
Yeah.
because like when you see some of these people hand rolling,
It's a whole ritual with
It
the
is.
cutting.
It's so cool, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I want to be able to smoke my cigars, but also I want people to do whatever they want here. Like if you want to smoke weed,
I like the smell of
Smoke
cigars,
weed.
but I don't smoke them anymore.
but yeah,
A good cigar, not the ranky, nasty,
yeah,
cheap ones, but the
not the backwoods.
the ones that have like
Yeah.
that little bit of aromatic.
Yep. But thank you guys.
Thank
This
you.
has gone longer than I
I
anticipated.
know,
sorry.
bro.
No, it is. But thank you guys. 'Cause I
Yeah,
thought
you're welcome.
Because
Yeah.
Daniel was telling me you were in a hurry. I was like, "Fuck, I don't want to make this too long."
No, it's
but
all
then
good.
the conversation, I'm like, but definitely, if you guys want to come back on, we'll set up another date. We'll get together, get deeper in conversation.
Wait till we get that pet psychic I'm trying to get.
Yeah, she's trying to get a
that.
pet psychic, but
You're gonna get a
You
pet
know.
psychic.
Yep.
but thank
We're
you.
gonna tell them
guys,
about the
though.
afterlife, man. What's going on up there with
Yes, sir.
rich people are hiring them for a reason. So
True. But also, like, whatever you guys are working on, if you guys want to do some plug-in, if anything,
I have to get a car psychic.
Nah,
your Instagram, people where they can follow
Yeah,
you at.
plug all your stuff you're
you,
doing.
You guys
Yeah,
can follow
plug it
me.
all.
Let me check it out. It's
But
a.casteneda18 on my Instagram.
hear that a.casteneda on
18
Instagram, 18
on
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
My TikTok is gonna be the same thing.
And on
help me out.
TikTok is where you got a lot of views, but you do that it's in Spanish, which is so cool.
Yeah, just in Spanish.
See?
And my YouTube is gonna be Alfredo Casteneda.
Oh, right.
I don't have a lot of followers. I just got like 4K, but my main thing is gonna be TikTok.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I plan to do a few because I also want to do some of my Spanish. Because I used to do Spanish podcasting, but I was like, I don't like how I do it by myself. And I think I'm gonna bring it back soon. So if you want to do a Spanish one,
I'm down, bro.
So Mr. Tom Anonymous,
Yeah.
anytime you guys want to come on, we'll set up another day because this conversation, you guys taught me a lot of things. So much you guys taught me. My ignorance is a little bit more gone. Especially when it comes to cars.
But likewise, it was cool meeting your brothers and you because you're very interesting and erudite. It's fun to see such an expanded mindset
Yes,
and then
sir.
promoting. And I think I really respect people that are going out and doing what they want to do,
yeah,
but not being dumb about it. There's a lot of people that it's not. I mean, I'm not trying to pass a judgment, but you kind of run into a lot of unprepared people,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
and they're unrealistic.
yeah.
That's so true. But again, thank you guys, and as
Thank
always,
Thank you.
greatness is one day at a time. Let's get it, guys. Keep working hard. Love you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.